Hey guys, today I'm going to be going through a land market analysis and also a little bit of an introduction to what the hell Decentraland is, because I think there's going to be a lot of investors or people just generally interested in the platform or in Mana token because, well, Mana token's on a complete, I don't know what the hell's been going on, but in the last few days it's been going pretty bonkers. So I think we're going to be seeing either just new people in the space for Decentraland. So I want to, one, focus on a land market analysis, so go through like the most recent lands that have sold, some of the wearables that have sold, names that have sold, etc. My comments on whether the market's still healthy, etc. And then kind of really quickly go through what Decentraland is. Actually, we might as well just start with what Decentraland is. For you, if you're new, Decentraland is an open platform where you can own pieces of land. So for example, with this massive map over here, each pixel of land is 16 by 16 meters in the in the Decentraland world. And you can, this highlighted red bit that I've just highlighted, that's where we are at the moment. So if I click the map button, you can see that we are here, over there in this, I think it's Voltaire district. And this is where a lot of art projects in the NFT space have set up their headquarters. So we've got Maker's Place over there, we have Super Air over here, we've got some beautiful art over here, 3D art, etc. And the cool thing is that what Decentraland is, hey, we got Renil in here, what's up, man? Looking at some art, okay. The cool thing is that we can directly integrate with blockchain. So I think this one takes me to see, this one actually takes me to the Pixel Chain website, but some of these art pieces you can actually buy straight from Decentraland. So this is a great thing about integrating with Decentraland. So this one also you can view on Super Rare. The great thing about integrating smart contracts with a virtual platform is the fact that we can buy and sell, trade NFTs, trade exchange goods directly in the platform, right? You can own everything here. So for example, I own all my wearables. This is my character. Each item is special. For example, these pants, they're barbarian pants. The skeleton torso is a skeleton is one of 10. There's only 10 of these in the whole Decentraland platform. It's a mythic status item. So in that sense, it's kind of a little bit like RuneScape, where you get the idea, right? There's going to be like a lot of scarcity built into these items. The mask that I'm wearing, I think it's one of 8 or one of 7 masks that were released that were ever released that were first released in Decentraland. So there's like 7 different types of masks. I think there's like 100 of each mask, maybe like 50 or something. And I own this one, so there's like about 30 or 40 of these masks. And this was the first ever mask release. So, for example, it's going to build on that story of what these wearables are, etc., etc. And if you've played RuneScape or any of these projects where there's scarcity built into these items, you know how much they appreciate in value. So the token that we exchange within this world is the Mana token, and as you can see, it's gone crazy. I'm kind of trying to find a reason for this madness. I think it's just because TA-wise, we were just looking really, really good. I had my RSI and MACD indicators, I've turned them off. But I think it's just the fact that, one, we're doing really good, and we've just seen a lot of activity with stuff happening in Decentraland. I know also Binance recently tweeted that they added the USD, the Mana USD pair. They did that like 19 hours ago, so that could be one of the reasons why it's been going a bit crazy too. And we also know some really big investors. By the way, if you want a full detailed introduction to Decentraland, I highly advise reading this one, The Complete Beginner's Guide to Fully Understanding Decentraland, on dclblogger.com. That's my blog. I kind of go through the whole project, where it started, how the auction went, blah, blah, blah. So these are a lot of cool screenshots of what people have built. This is like 6 months ago, so now people have built all kinds of things. There are, as you can see, there's like, art headquarters. This is all new. This is only like 3 months old or something. So in these places, if I can go in them, maybe I want to go into Mintbase. We can go into Mintbase. This all runs on the browser, by the way, so you don't need to download anything. As you can see, the URL, right? That you can just send that on Twitter, and that person will click that link and suddenly be teleported into Decentraland. The only thing is it's really heavy on the processor sometimes. So view on Mintbase. I'm trying to find something I can buy straight away. So it looks like these are all link outs. Okay. But yeah, people do videos. We do conferences. So I run conferences with the help of some people, and people present their projects. We can have video, Zoom, and audio directly linked into this. So conferences are now becoming a digital thing. People go to these conferences and collect things. We drop wearables and mana and all kinds of fun prizes and stuff. We had a 5 versus 5 soccer game. We had like 5 people from each. So we had 24 teams compete for a gold cup. This gold cup's backed by by DGX. So the NFT itself has like 50 grams of 1 gram of gold in it, which is like $50 or something, backed by the NFT. And yeah, the people played 5 versus 5, and it was a massive soccer tournament. It was really cool. So we're kind of still pushing the boundaries with Decentraland. It's only been open for 6 months, 6 to 8 months now. So we're going to be pushing it to its limit to keep adding more games, keep adding more venues and art pieces and all kinds of stuff. But let's talk about the actual marketplace. So as I said before, you can buy land, you can buy all kinds of stuff, right? So if I were to go to marketplace, you can kind of get an indication as to what people buy. So there's 3 things at the moment that people buy. They buy wearables, they buy parcels and estates. So these are lands in Decentraland, and then they also buy names. So names are like your identity, and they're kind of like domain names. They are ENS names, and they are, I think they're DCL.ENS, but you know, it's your identity. So when you're in Decentraland, you can be known as someone like Neo, or I don't know, Freddy Krueger, or Mike. So you can imagine once these are 100 mana to mint. So for example, if you go to nonfungible.com, we can kind of see all the names being minted. How do I go to just names? Okay, here we go. So it costs 100 mana to mint a brand new name. So we can see these people, Blake, Zodok, blah, blah, blah. But some people, they buy names of previously minted names. So if someone bought this name, Identity, and put it for sale, so he first minted it on 6 months ago, and he sold it today, 9 hours ago, for 1 Ethereum. So he made a pretty healthy 50x on that, I think, just selling that name. So there's a market for people buying and selling names. People like to have cool names as prestige. There has been some pretty big sales that have happened with the name market. It's still fairly new. There's not that many people in Decentraland compared to some larger online universes. There's obviously millions of players in projects like RuneScape, etc. And Decentraland's kind of new, so it has like, maybe on a good day for some of our events, we may get 150, 250 people, but it's still a long way to go. So as it gets more popular, are these early names going to be more popular? We don't know. Probably they will. I think this one, Kanye West, sold for 100,000 mana, 50,000 mana for the name Moon. So some of these have had some decent sales, and it's kind of a part of the play in Decentraland. Some people like to invest in names. We have lands, as I said before. So these are estates, which are multiple lands joined up together. I don't know what the hell happened here. It looks like a weird dummy sale or something. Surely this is not a 1 Ethereum sale, but you can see this one here. This is 2 pieces, so 2 pieces of land in this area, sold for 68,000 mana, which is 3,000 USD. Land is not cheap, guys. Land is, at the moment, the cheapest land is 12,500 mana, but in terms of fiat, that's like 700, 800 USD, right? It's almost $1,000. I think it may be. Yeah. So, sorry, where was I? Yep. So estates, you know, some of them sell for a lot of money. Again, if you want to look at the record prices for estates, we've had some really, really big estates. Let this load for a little bit. But we've had some sales for over 200,000 USD, some over 100,000 USD. People have gone nuts, and this was like 2 years ago when Decentraland, you know, people were in the hype market and people were buying some pretty big pieces of land. We've seen people put millions of dollars into land, and now it's kind of paying off because you can build a lot of stuff. There we go. So that massive piece here, which I think was, I don't know how many pieces it was, but the more pieces you have joined up, the higher you can build. So there's a lot of value in having joined up pieces. This one was a beautiful piece that sold for 80,000 USD. This was, I think, 64 pieces, but it's quite central. Again, a lot of it depends on the location of the land, right? So if you're in the center, so this is Center Genesis Plaza, and Genesis Plaza are land that's owned by Decentraland. So Decentraland own these green boxes where they're going to kind of build out venues and community events, etc. The middle one's the spawn point. Then you got like Soho Plaza, which is an art, I think it's this one, which is going to be art focused. Then you got Vegas Plaza, which is Vegas focused, gambling focused. You got Vegas District, which is massive. All of these purple boxes are districts which are run by projects in certain areas. Okay, I don't know why that's going on. But this is Vegas Plaza. Then you have Decentraland University. You have Decentraland Conference Center. You have Etheria Plaza. Etheria District. You have the Convention Center where we hold our conferences, etc. And some businesses have set up shop there as well. So it's all like depending on location. Like if you're directly connected to this, the land is more expensive. If you're in this little pocket, this is a pretty premium pocket just because it's quite rare and it's in the midst of District X and Fashion Street. There's still a lot of content we still need to deploy in Decentraland. It's mostly empty, but there's hot pockets of where content is slowly being developed. I kind of see it in a 2 to 3 year position to have a lot of content and a lot of use case for the token Mana. So yeah, Mana USD was just added. Barry Silbert is one of our biggest investors. He has Mana as one of his holdings. He has a ton of Decentraland land. I think it's like 3,000, 4,000 pieces. I found some of his land once, and then I found that he had kind of made buildings on a bunch of different partners that he has invested in. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully they'll come in and do some sort of business activity in Decentraland. Maybe when we go VR. The world is not VR yet, but it will be switched to VR once we have a good stable platform. So I kind of ran around and found a bunch of his business projects. These are all the guys that I found. But in terms of the market analysis, we're doing pretty good considering that Mana, to be honest, on the long run, it's kind of dropped in value compared to Ethereum. But lately, we've seen that increase. Obviously, with whatever's going on at the moment, if this kind of trend continues and we go up above like 700, 800 Satoshi, we're going to be in a pretty good position, especially considering there's 22 million Mana per year in funding that Decentraland have to give to creators. The more that becomes worth in terms of USD. So 22 million Mana at the moment at 6 cents is like the 1.3 million USD per year they have for the next 10 years in funding proposals, and you can propose like projects that you want to build and the community can approve that. And the whole thing is that Decentraland's a DAO run governance project, right? It's a virtual world where we hopefully will be able to control, the people will be able to control the decisions based on a DAO. So that's the whole play with it being decentralized. But in terms of the market, we've seen some pretty consistent sales, at least in the last 24 hours. But prior to that, it wasn't that consistent. So in the last 24 hours, we've seen a little bit more interest. I think it's come off the awareness of the Mana token, because people find out what the hell's going on with Mana. They do a bit of investigating. They might buy some land because of that. But this place looks quite healthy. So this is the center quadrants, which is these 4 quadrants here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are more central than the other places, right? So anything that sells here is generally a little bit more expensive than the outside parts of these roads. The squiggly lines are roads, so basically if you own anything here, the blue ones are ones for sale. So if you want to buy them, they can only buy the blue ones. You click on it, it's a sale price, you can either buy it or not. Sometimes they have their email addresses. For example, my land, I have my email address here. It says dclbloggerx@gmail.com. So if you want to negotiate with me, you can email me there, or you can get in touch. And normally what happens is a lot of people, especially with these larger assets, the larger parcels of land, people usually go through some sort of a negotiation process. There's, they want it for 2 million Mana. I say no, I want it for 4 million Mana. And there's some sort of like an agreement that we come to. Then they can simply place a bid, and I accept that bid, and the assets get switched. But yes, central location. So that land we saw for sale was, I think, connected to this area, right? So these lands connected to roads in this area usually go for about 25,000 Mana. Sometimes if you're lucky, you can get it for about 20,000 Mana, but they usually go for about 25 to 45,000 Mana, depending on how central you are. If you go really close to here, then we're talking like maybe 50,000 Mana. Obviously, if you're connected to these double roads, you're probably looking at something like 100,000, sometimes even 300, 400,000 Mana if you want to get it directly connected to this Plaza, this Genesis estate. But yeah, that's pretty healthy to see land selling in quite close to Genesis Plaza for 40,000 Mana. It's a single piece of land. Where are we? Yep, single piece of land. Some lands are going for a lot cheaper than market price, and I think for a long time we kind of saw 12,000 Mana as a pretty decent floor, and now it looks like some people are accepting bids under 10,000 Mana. I think that's got to do with Mana going nuts, because some people might want to cash it out as fiat and maybe jump on the Ethereum train, maybe want to cash it out as fiat. etc., etc. So it's been a mix of people buying land in locations that they want for decent prices, and also buying and selling them for really cheap prices because they want to cash out real quickly and maybe sell out their mana. So we normally see that with mana going up or down. Sometimes when it goes up and down too suddenly, we start to see some sales happen in those ranges. I want to open up the wearables sales. So you can buy wearables on Decentraland, but OpenSea is a great place to buy them too. You can see the recent sales. 288 mana for this. I don't know what happened here. That's really, really cheap. But 288 mana for this. These are the launch shirts. So basically, this is one of the only shirts that had a date on it that's stamped. This is on the launch date. So on the launch date, we had a tournament, a kind of a treasure hunt thing for 2 weeks. So people jumped in and bought these shirts, or got these shirts as prizes along with these other items here. But this was the only one with a launch date stamped on it. So it increased in value quite a lot. So it's at 300 mana at the moment. We have some community wearables. So these are polygonal mines that have created these. Some projects came in and they kind of this one was last sold for 0.05 Ethereum. This one's a cool thing that I have. So yeah, we're seeing some sales happen, and like I said before, there's some mythic status items, right? So for example, this one sold for 5,000 mana. There's only 10 of these in the whole world, the universe, the Decentraland world. So I think I'm I like my mythic items. I have quite a lot of them as an early investor or an early person to the platform, and I think that they're going to do really well because it's just the rarity is going to be crazy in the next 3 to 5 years. If Decentraland starts to be a buzzing place where people spend their time, then it's going to be pretty rare, right, to see an item in the early days that's only 1 of 10. If you're wearing them, you're going to be considered an OG. So that's my play. So yeah, guys, I don't want to do too much of an analysis because there's really not much to say apart from mana's going nuts. But the purpose of this video hopefully was to provide a bit of clarity on the project for people that are entering the mana space or kind of searching mana on Twitter or Google, wherever they're finding it. Hopefully they'll come across this video and it'll explain a little bit more about what Decentraland is.